The Bye-Bye Man. The fucking Bye-Bye Man. You're honestly telling me you couldn't come up with a better name for your scary horror movie than The Bye-Bye Man? Here's how that pitch should have went in the writers' meeting. Any thoughts on what we should call the film? The Bye-Bye Man? Jesus, Terence, how many times have I told you not to bring your child to work? I know your wife left you, but you're on Hollywood salary. You can afford a goddamn babysitter. This is a professional meeting, for Christ's sake. But no, they decided that The Bye-Bye Man was the title they wanted audience to ask for at the ticket booth and still expected them not to giggle. I guess the Cheerio fellow was taken. Now, before anybody points out to me that The Bye-Bye Man is the name ripped from a short story the film is based on, I would like to point out that it's still a stupid name. A fact that the book seemed to be aware of, since it goes by a different title, The Bridge to Body Island, which is way more intimidating sounding and not immediately laughable. I realise I'm a little bit into this review now and I'm still ripping into the Goodbye Guys title as opposed to any of the actual content of the movie, but it's with damn good reason. And that's because I would like to think if you're making a horror movie, then it's probably best not to immediately kill any tension you might want to build in said movie by giving it a laughably dumb name. I'm pretty sure audiences might not have been so chilled by Carpenter's classic and my favourite horror movie, The Thing, if it was the exact same movie but was instead called The Slimy Wimey Grossness That Murdered Everybody. So needless to say, going into this film, it already felt like a comedy rather than an eerie bogeyman flick before the previews had even finished rolling, setting itself up in a massive hole that it would need to use a lot of its runtime to climb out of. But it did have an hour and a half to climb out of that hole, so the question is, did it manage to? No, of course it didn't. The Farewell Fam's stubby little hands didn't even attempt to climb those muddy walls, but instead it managed to somehow pull out a shovel and dig itself deeper into the realms of forgettable, while everyone watched on confused and said, "Dude, what are you doing?" In terms of bad, shallow horror, it doesn't get much worse than the Auf Wiedersehen acquaintance. This is a tropey, boring, and painfully unscary travesty of a movie that relies so much on horror movies of the past, but didn't even choose to rip off the good ones. I've been known to previously say bad films that rip ideas from better ones are the pound shop version of those movies, like National Treasure is the pound shop version of Indiana Jones, for example. But this movie somehow manages to be the pound shop version of the pound shop. It's like every bad horror movie trope got together for an orgy, but it was a really disgusting and sleazy one in a super gross trailer park that all the good tropes were too classy to go to. So all we got left was a cripplingly depressed teenage Ouija board film that quietly cry-wanked itself in the corner while it filmed the Candyman sequels lazily and drunkenly fool around on his shitty flip phone. The scene-to-scene momentum plays out like a checklist. Teenage party, check. Creepy seance, check. Tall supernatural mute stalker villain, check. Ineffective mirror jump scare, check. Writing on the walls, check. Creepy photographs, check. Eerie old newspaper articles, check. Unsettling drawings, check. Illogical and stupid character decisions, check, check, check. If you haven't seen it, I recommend catching it with a few friends, but only if each of you draw up your own bingo cards of crap cliches beforehand, because it's the only way any one of you will manage to get any entertainment from this derivative schlock. And I guarantee, even without any prior context or trailers, at least one of you will get the call house. So in case I haven't put you off enough already, the Sayonara Senorita tells the tale of 3 teenagers moving into a new creepy house. Jesus, I am literally one sentence into this synopsis and we've already got 2 overplayed cliches right there. Anyways, these bland, boring individuals who totally deserve to die for having the same level of personality as a pint of off milk eventually discover a drawer in the basement that drops this coin. Don't ask me why it drops coins, it's just something the Hasta La Vista Hombre does to say he's coming. Why? I don't know. Hardly scary dropping coins, is it? Maybe his wallet just has a hole in it and he's got too much change. That's just his thing. He drops coins and has a horribly rendered dog. Which, don't even get me fucking started on that thing. It looks just like the zombie pooches from Resident Evil put on a bit of weight. Especially since it uses about the same quality of CG. He has no reason to have this dog. It does nothing except symbolise his arrival, which the coin already does. If anything, it just humanises him. He can't be all that bad. He's got a pet dog. That's kind of adorable. Anyway, upon investigating the coin, one of the teens discovers writing on the drawer it fell from, which summons the see you later waiter. Anyone who reads, sees, says, or thinks the name is cursed to be constantly stalked and scared by the Terrar troublemaker until they presumably kill themselves. The rest of the movie just sees the teens being plagued by these quote-unquote scary visions from the Adios Amigo as they seek to somehow stop the curse and prevent it spreading in this humdrum horror. I have several issues with this. Firstly, the film falls apart at the slightest bit of logic. So, for example, the opening scene that sets the movie up takes place in the past and sees one man with the curse go on a killing spree of everyone who he ever told the name to before killing himself. Perfectly fine setup, probably one of the strongest scenes in the movie. Not amazing, but inoffensive. However, it falls apart when you realise that this guy was willing to murder friends and family in order to rid the world of this horrible curse, and yet he forgot to burn the cabinet he scratched the name into. Right. Also, the mechanics of the villain just don't work. You have to say the bye-bye man and then he finds you? That's just silly. Especially when that can be accidentally said. At least with the Candyman, which this movie shamelessly rips off, you had to say it 5 times in front of a mirror. That at least feels like a summoning ritual thing. But with regards to the bye-bye man, does this fella just sit on the sidelines of every conversation in the world like some omnipotent eavesdropper waiting for his moment to strike? Imagine 2 blokes are just about to leave each other after hanging out and he's just sitting there invisible, clenching his fist in anticipation like, go on, sit. One dude's geet, see you later. Other guy's got a bit of a stutter, so he says, yeah, bye-bye, man. Ah, so close. Also, you know how most horror films hide the monster for a big reveal? Yeah, that whole thing with building suspense and intrigue? Nah, not this movie. Not only does the Zaijin Gaijin look like Mike Myers in a bathrobe, but this design gets way more focused than it should have, because the dude has so much screen time he might as well have a fully featured dance number with the main cast. The more he's shown, the less scary he becomes. And he wasn't that scary to begin with. One of his horrifying hallucinations at one point sees him make one of the characters think a police officer has winked at him, causing mild momentary confusion. And another thing, if the only thing that keeps him existing is people knowing, thinking, and saying his name, then why does he try and kill everyone who knows, thinks, and says his name? Not the best evil plan there, mate. If anything, you're just gonna kill yourself doing that. Bit stupid, that one. You could argue he tries to get his victims to spread the name before they die, but he doesn't try very hard. Major spoilers here, but don't worry, the movie's total shit, so it's fine. In the final moments of the film, the late-as lad demonstrates the power to make the protagonist say his name, an ability so powerful the dude has to quickly kill himself before he can utter it to his brother and niece in order to save them from the curse, which, side note, is immediately followed by the niece joking with her father 5 minutes later about how she can't read in the dark. Christ, child, your uncle just died. Who wrote this dialogue? And here's where I'm thinking, hold the fuck up. Where was this making people say his name power before? If you can make people do shit, why not just get any one of your victims to decide to just wander down a main street going, bye-bye, man. Bye-bye, man to you, sir. Why, what a lovely bye-bye, man we're having today, my good fellow. Or better yet, just get them to buy a sudden billboard and slap your name in the middle of rush hour traffic. Just right there for all to see. Jesus, you suck at being evil, Mr. the Chow Garden. I ran out of piss take names. Worst thing this movie does though, it has no point. Good horror movies aren't about the monsters or the haunted house or the ghosts, they're about the people those things affect, or about giving the opportunity to viewers to safely explore the fears and ideas those creatures and creations conjure. Like, Let the Right One In is about growing up, The Thing is about paranoia, Dawn of the Dead is about consumerism. The Bye-Bye Man, though, is just about making a franchise character out of a knockoff bogeyman with murky at best mythology. There's nothing this film has to say. It serves no Wait. What if it does have a purpose? What if it's the Bye-Bye Man doing exactly what I said he should do? What if he made people make this to put in cinemas and show millions of people to get his name out there so he can curse us all? Oh, fuck! And I'm helping him with this review. Oh, wait. No, it can't be that. Otherwise he'd have made a film people would actually want to go out and see.